probably around January. It was in the middle of the pandemic, so to set the scene, right? This is early 2021. We'd heard that no one was really doing anything for Lunar New Year. The parade was going to be canceled officially. And a lot of us were really, I guess, resigned to not having anything happen during Lunar New Year celebrations. And, it's a pandemic, so of course we're all good with that. But then it got kind of closer and closer to Lunar New Year and when it would normally be the parade, at least for myself, because I've been, involved for so long and being part of the parade, doing lion dancing, for over 20 years. People kept asking me, hey, is there anything going on for Lunar New Year this year? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, there's nothing going on because of the pandemic. Everyone understood, but people kept on asking me. This kind of interest kind of started getting at me in terms of like, there's so many people that want something to happen.
If you ask most Vancouverites about Chinatown, you get an immediate smile. Everybody has a memory. Everybody can think about going down there and having a special family meal at some point, or going for a visit, or seeing the Chinese New Year parade. Whatever that is for you, is to make it part of your daily lives and go down and visit and support. The big impact with COVID means that sometimes we have to pivot and adjust our plans. I think that the challenge now is getting people back to a neighborhood that's really trying to pull itself up and pull itself out. And this is a community that's resilient and is willing to put in the effort.
That voice in the back of your head that tells you to go do it. And it's like, you know what, let me at least put something small online, just something. Like maybe we'll just do a lion dance remotely, something safe and people can, watch. So I remember reaching out to a friend of mine, Louis Leprand, and it was 9 nights from our first meeting of like, hey, we're thinking of doing this. We want to hold it in 9 nights. Can we do it? And somehow, we put on this, hour and a half event that pulled in, a couple hundred attendees from nothing, right? It was just that the impetus was that, there was nothing but so many people wanted to come together and celebrate what Lunar New Year is. This celebration of culture. And, its ties to Chinatown, specifically in Vancouver, like that's where the genus was, like that core. There's something special about Chinatown, and I want to make sure that, what's there, what that special feeling is conserved for future generations.
I think it's hard right now, especially in this, if we can even say post-pandemic world, living with COVID, thinking about the racism that we faced during that time and how COVID really amplified that racism that was always there. I think it was important for our community to be able to have this festival so that we could say that we're here. We want to occupy this space. This is our space. And it's meaningful to us, and we want to continue to show joy and celebrate who we are and share that not just with our own families and just with the Chinese community, but with everybody in Vancouver. I think it's something that every Vancouverite can take pride in when we can come together and celebrate festivals. It was a 3-day event. And really the main event was our Saturday evening ceremony in which we lit the fire dragon. It was magical. I look back at the photos now and I gain so much sense of pride in seeing us be able to come together like this. And, growing up, having gone to the Lunar New Year parade every year, you just get this upwelling of emotion when you hear the drums starting to play, when you see the lions being danced. And I think that's, for me at least, what I really wanted to create, that feeling that maybe a kid would have had, or somebody who had never engaged with the Chinese community or any of our festivals or celebrations before, this upwelling of emotion. It felt like you were being transported to a different place. It has this very sort of modern look to the outside on Pender Street. But as soon as you walked into the gates, and I think we did a great job of, again, feeling like as if you were transported somewhere else. We had lanterns lit, we had events and crafts that people could partake in, and seeing there in the courtyard, the dragon that was built by the community. I think it was a great place for everyone to kind of congregate to, and visitors who didn't know anything about what a fire dragon is were able to go take a look at it and interact with it too. It wasn't just this sort of static thing. they were able to insert the incense into the dragon. And if they were lucky enough to be around in the evening when we lit it up and we danced the dragon and, we woke it up basically and danced it in that courtyard. The stereotype is that Asians are quiet, we're reserved, and sure, and maybe while some of those things might be true, there is also space for us to get out of our comfort zones, to collaborate and to perform and be the center of attention and be on stage and call people together. I think we have all those abilities and we have the desire to do that as a community. And so I hope things like festivals is where we can all sort of come together and display that joy and that happiness for our culture and for being resilient and facing things like racism through COVID.